welcome to another 1989 Batman.com merchandise spotlight. Today we're taking a look at the brand new NECA 7-inch Michael Keaton Batman movie version figure. A figure that kind of a lot of us didn't see coming, and we definitely didn't see it coming and happening as fast as it did. This was just announced just a few weeks back, came out of nowhere. NECA had been saying all along that they didn't have the rights to do a 7-inch movie version Batman. That was tied up with the Mattel deal, and it couldn't happen as a regular release single carded figure. We went over this quite a bit when we talked about the video game version. That was pretty much all we were going to get as a single release figure. But NECA found a way to make this happen, and that was by working with Warner Brothers to create the figure as a bonus to a bundle pack for the release of the 25th anniversary Diamond Lux Blu-Ray, which was released on December 9th. Originally, the figure was sold through eBay sales, packaged with that Blu-ray for $30. Those sold out in like 3 days, and they were waiting to announce another way the figure would be available. The bundle pack would be available, and that ended up being through Toys R Us. ToysRUs.com was selling it at $30, originally shown with the Diamond Lux version, but as the figure started to show up at stores, we realized that the Toys R Us version included the old standard Blu-ray. Now, Hastings is also getting these bundle packed, again with the standard Blu-ray. So the package deal of being the 25th anniversary Diamond Lux was only through those original eBay sales, and now both Hastings and Toys R Us have them with the standard Blu-ray. Price-wise, the original eBay sale was $29.99 with the Diamond Lux. Toys R Us in-store with the standard Blu-ray is $24.99. Hastings in-store with the standard Blu-ray is $24.99. GoHastings.com and ToysRUs.com, both packaged with the standard Blu-ray, back to $29.99, the same as the original eBay sales. But either way you're cutting it, you're really not buying it for the Blu-ray, I don't think. You're buying it for the figure. So let's more focus in on that. First of all, the packaging. We've got a 7-inch figure that's kind of on a small card back. It's not really a large card back for this size figure. And in fact, the card back that it's doing an homage to of the old 4.5-inch size Batman, that card is actually bigger than this card. As you can see, it's a little bit taller, it's definitely wider, but I think this has to do with the fact that the box that it ships in also has the Blu-rays inside, and maybe it has to do with the whole licensing of it being a standard card figure. I don't know what it is, but the card back is kind of small, but for what is there, it's a great homage to that old Toy Biz packaging. We've got this gold patterned background that has like the sort of the small little circle patterning to it. We've got the Batman movie logo with the gold outline. We've got the purple stripe up top with the gold stars. Down below you see this version has the sticker below here where it says 25th Anniversary Edition Batman Bundle. Now it seems like only the Toys R Us version is going to have this sticker. The ones that are showing up from the eBay sales, which mine has not arrived yet, do not have this sticker. And the pictures I've seen of them shown at Hastings on the shelf also don't have this sticker. The sticker peels off pretty easily with some Goo Gone or whatever, so it really doesn't matter, but if you want to get rid of that big, giant sticker, either buy it from somewhere else other than Toys R Us, or use some Goo Gone. Packaged behind the figure is a little baggie that has his extra hands and his accessories, and the figure itself is just held in to a blister bubbled inside there with some twist ties and such. One thing I did want to note while we're looking at the carded version, a lot of people are kind of complaining and saying, oh, does his head look too big? Does his head look too big? And I think that really has to do with the fact that the cape is kind of tucked behind him, and you're not getting a kind of the full look of the cape coming forward, and it maybe makes his head look a little bit bigger than it actually is in person. The head is pretty much in proportion when you get him out of the package and you have the cape moving around. The back of the card features another homage here to the Toy Biz card back, in that we've got Batman standing on this rooftop with the water tower, the Batman logo, the same purple with the gold stars, and this awesome clip and save redo of the Gotham Globe. All of those Toy Biz figures had these Gotham Globes along the bottom with a little talk about whatever character you were buying. And in the case of this redo, it's pretty much an exact copy of what you had before with the cutout and the text and everything like that. And something that we'll note when we're talking about on the couch that's kind of cool is what's pictured here is really a picture of their 18-inch figure, which doesn't match the figure inside the card, obviously. While the figure inside the card is a scaled-down version, sculpt-wise, of the 18-inch version, it's not the same figure. But just like the old Toy Biz figure, this on the back is a repainted Superpowers figure, so what you got in the bubble wasn't quite the same of what you got on the back of the card. I don't know if that was intentional here or not, but it is kind of a neat throwback thing that the picture on the back doesn't quite match what you got. As you can see, the shading's a little bit different here and there, but overall, this is just such an awesome take on that old Toy Biz packaging. Now, I'm a sucker for the Kenner packaging as well, but I do have a soft spot for this old Toy Biz packaging, so I was quite charmed to see them bringing it back again. Alright, so there he is all carded up, and we've taken a look at him packaged. Let's get him out of there and take a look at the loose version. And here we have Batman out of the box. Alright, now if you watched our video game tribute Batman 7-inch review, some of this might get a little repetitive, since this is basically the same figure with a different paint scheme, but hopefully there's enough new stuff here that you won't get too bored. As far as accessories go, he includes his grapple gun, which has a paint app on both this side where the little silver area is where the handle flips out, and if I'm not mistaken, the silver version's from Batman Returns, but that's okay. And then he's got a little gold paint app on the harpoon area, or the grapple hook area, whatever you want to call that, and then little tiny silver paint apps where all the studs are. The weapon is really well sculpted, just like it was on the 18-inch version and the video game tribute version. It's all one solid piece, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. It doesn't need to really come apart and everything at this scale. That maybe is just asking just a little bit too much. The Batarang is fully sculpted on one side and then just flat on the other side, and no sculpted details. Again, doesn't really matter at this scale. I'm not going to get too picky on these accessories. There are two little tiny silver paint apps at the edges to show that they're kind of sharpened blades. I thought that was nice. Nice little touch added on there. He includes two extra hands. The hands he has on right as he comes packaged as a figure are his right hand, which is meant to grip the grapple gun, and it sits in there really well, just like it did on the video game tribute. It's a nice tight grip, if I can get it in there without knocking him down. There we go. And it doesn't feel like the weapon's going to fall out easily or anything like that. It's held on there nicely, but it also has sort of a relaxed look to it, so it looks just like a regular hand and not just always meant to grip the gun hand. So he's got that hand on the right hand, and on the left hand he's got just a standard fist. The extra left hand has a little kind of open spot inside of it, and that's meant for you to plug the Batarang into. Sorry, I'm not having it on the camera here, but this one's a little bit tougher to work with than the, there we go, than the grapple gun hand is. You got to kind of wedge it way down in there to get it to really stay in. And then as far as the extra right hand, that's just a fist to match the fist left hand that he's got going right now. Those hands pop off and on. The post is inside the arm, so these are kind of hollowed out inside, and then you just pop them off and on. But you may want to boil up some water or have some hot water going to soften these up, especially the first time you try and switch them out, because they may be kind of stuck due to the paint. One thing I did want to note on the hands is that there is a paint app. There's a flatter paint on the inside of the glove where the padding is, and it's more gloss on the outside, which is a nice touch. One thing I'm surprised they didn't hit was the little tiny metal studs inside. That's a major nitpick on my part, though. It's such a small paint app that it'd be kind of tough to do, and it would probably get worn off by the grapple gun and such like that. But it is neat to note that they did the flat paint on the inside. I thought that was kind of cool. As far as the rest of the paintwork goes, since we're already talking about it, let's talk about it now. It's mostly black, as you can see, but there are some spots where they went ahead and gave it a gloss coat, just like the 18-inch has, where the material of the gloves is glossy, but the armor piece on there has more of a flattish sheen to it. Like I said, the palms have a flat paint app to them. The boots are sort of a two-toned, where the armor is more flat and the actual boot area is more glossy. Down on the boot, down on the shoe part of the foot part of the boot, I guess you should say, it's kind of glossy, whereas the armor piece, the kind of the rubbery piece, is more of a flat color. So just kind of giving some variation between the blacks on the parts that should be more shiny and the parts that should be more flat. And then he's got the belt, which is a sort of a yellowish gold. It's a nice job of capturing an in-between between a yellow belt and a straight gold belt. It's something that Hot Toys didn't even do, to do a different color between the logo and the belt, where it's definitely a yellow and definitely more of a gold. The yellow on the bat symbol is painted on there. It's a sculpted bat symbol, and then the yellow fills in where it's kind of more recessed. And it's kind of tough to find one of these that's really sharp and clean. That's one of the major things to watch out for when you're picking out this figure, is to watch this bat symbol, because they can kind of get all over the place depending on you know, how quick they were doing the paint work, I guess. And then as far as the rest of the paint apps go, they're all confined to the head area. He's got the flesh tone face with sort of a pinkish lips, and it's photographing a little, I think, a little more pink than it is in person. It just looks like a standard lip, and not like he's wearing pink lipstick or something like some of the pictures are making it look. If I can kind of raise this up and zoom in a little bit, we'll get a little bit closer to his head. There we go. The head, as we talked about on the video game tribute version, there is a sculpted Keaton face under here. It's not a full head. Once you get this mask off, which it's not really supposed to be removable, but if you're customizing or you boil up some water, you can kind of work that mask off. It's not a full head sculpt like the 18-inch version is. There's no sculpted hair back here. It's like a ridge. As long as this is the same as the video game tribute version, which I'm sure it is, there should be just a ridge inside there. But you can lift up the mask and see a little bit of the Keaton face under there. It's got the fully painted nose and everything, but he does have the black circles around his eyes, so it's not like you can just pull the mask back and have a Keaton face. You'd have to do some major work to get it back to a standard Michael Keaton. Alright, let's pull back just a bit here so we can get back in focus. Let's talk about articulation a little bit. Again, it's the same as the video game tribute version, so if you heard all this, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to sit through it again. We'll start at the feet and work our way up. He's got a ball-jointed ankle, and again, we talked about this just a second ago, where this armor piece is a separate piece. It's sort of a rubberized, soft plastic, so it doesn't hinder that joint. You can move it all around, and it's not trapped by that armor piece. The knee pops into the leg on, it's got a hinge joint, and then it swivels where it pops into the knee, or the thigh area. And I do want to note that one of these was stuck on mine pretty bad when I got it, but pop it in some hot water for a few minutes, let it soften up, and then slowly work it, and you should be fine. Just don't immediately go to snap that and turn it thinking you'll be able to just pop the joint free. Give it some work if it feels like it's stuck. The joint at the top of the hip is kind of a swivel that mounts onto the ball joint inside the hip, and it's got these sort of rubbery, soft plastic underwear piece that's going on here that's hiding all that articulation. I love the way that looks. It does a really great job of hiding the joint inside there. It's not ugly and obtrusive, it's just really well hidden. Then he's got a waist joint where the body kind of meets up with the pelvis area, and that's really tight. It's kind of tough to move that one, but you don't really need it because he also has a mid-torso joint, and that's got a lot of range of movement going on. And again, he's got this soft rubbery plastic that's the muscle sculpt, so it's not interfering with this torso joint. You're getting a lot of movement there because this is not restricting you. Same on the back, it's got a panel that's sort of a soft rubbery plastic, so that joint's pretty free still. We've got a ball jointed shoulder. It may be a hinge and then posted in there, but it's tough to see because it's kind of covered up here. As far as the elbow goes, it's a hinge that plugs in, and so you got a swivel right there. Then we've got a swivel cut joint at the top of the glove where it meets the arm, or the elbow area, and then we've got a sort of ball jointed wrist where they are interchangeable, where it's got that mounted on that post. So it's got a little in and out and swivels all around. It's got a nice bit of movement there. The head is mounted on a ball joint, but you don't get a ton of movement because of the soft material mask is kind of restricting it a bit. But you still can get some neck movement going on there. It's just not like he's going to be looking up and looking all around or anything like that. It's going to be a pretty straightforward look to him. You can get a little bit of movement, but not a ton. If you move it too much, you're going to get the symbol going all crazy anyway. As far as the sculpt goes, I've gone over the sculpt a couple times now, both with the 18-inch version and the 7-inch version. This is one of my favorite sculpts of the Michael Keaton bat suit ever. I think it's just really, really well done. It may rival the Hot Toys overall for the sculpt, because it does such a good job of getting the armor and then putting these joints in here, and it's just this one kind of rubber overlay. They actually worked to get the right sizing and the right, folds and creases and everything hidden inside there. It's just a really stellar job of capturing that suit. And I love that you can actually tell like different pieces to the suit, and it doesn't feel like it's all just one thing. I love NECA's sculpt on the bat suit. Alright, the cape is probably the last thing we should talk about here on the actual figure before you do some comparisons. It's all just one material, and it feels like your standard action figure cape material. Whereas their 18-inch version had sort of a texture on the outside that matched sort of a pleathery look, and then a softer material on the inside, like the cape in the movie. This one being a 7-inch figure is not going to go all out like that. It's just a mass market figure. It's just going to have a standard cape. It's fine for what it is, and you know, I'm not really going to get down on the cape too much. I do wish it was a little bit nicer, but that's really just a minor nitpick of mine. It's doing the job. It looks really good on him right now, and you can get some cool poses out of it. You can get the over-the-shoulder look if you tweak it just a bit to what it actually was in the movie. And it can make for some nice flowing posing and things like that. But it is just a standard cape. Don't expect too much out of it. It's all one material. All right, I want to do some quick comparisons here before we take over to the couch and kind of give our final thoughts on it. First of all, let's take a look at it next to what it's a tribute to, sort of, and that's the original Toy Biz version. As you can see, we've come a long way since 1989. And then, let's see, I didn't grab a Kenner version. I don't know why I didn't for this video, but you'll be able to go to that website and look at pictures. Here is the new Mattel version, and mine's a little bit customized with the skinnier ears and stuff. So there's those guys together. Let's take a look at him next to, let's get you out of the way, and take a look at another Mattel figure, and that's this is the closest as we had to a 6-inch Michael Keaton Batman for the longest time, was the DC Universe Classics black repaint. As you can see, the scale's pretty good between the two of them. He could kind of work with DC Universe Classics. He's a little bit tall, but, you know, you can make it work with some of the villains, some of the larger ones, especially like Bane. Maybe some teenage characters like Robin would look good next to him. Okay, here's him next to the Hot Toys version. Oops, sorry, Batman. I've got a Tony May custom cape on this Batman. Alright, so there's the two of those together. I'm sorry, I gotta zoom it back here. Hang on. Okay, there we go. I'm not even going to attempt to put the 18-inch next to him. That's just going to get crazy with the zoom back. There we go. So you can see the scale difference here, but this is a really great job of capturing the suit. Not that this is anything to sneeze at. This is fantastic. But they do look, you know, pretty comparable when it comes to sculpt. They did a really great job of capturing that suit. Alright, let's move you off to the side, and then we'll take a look at him next to... Go back down here. Sorry about all the camera movements, guys. I don't want to make you seasick. Alright, how about next to a couple of other NECA figures, in case you collect the NECA stuff. Here he is next to Dutch from Predator, so you can get a good look at what standard human-sized characters look like next to Batman. And then we've got the giant Predator, maybe pull off some Batman Dead End type stuff. And last but not least, we'll take a look at him next to the video game tribute version. If they'll stand up, there we go. So here he is next to video game tribute, and I really love this sculpt, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be doing a lot of customizing. And just like the Kenner Dark Knight collection, you can just kind of use the same body over and over again. And just repaint it again and again. So I did a Batman before they announced this, a standard. Oh, look at that. They're all going to fall. Let's get them off that disc. Hang on. I'm not really using it. Oops. Sorry. Alright, so let's put that over there. Let's put him right here. And then we'll put my Iron Winch Batman custom over there. So I'm going to be getting into a lot of customizing those figures if I can find enough of them, just because I'm such a fan of that Kenner Dark Knight collection, and it's such a great sculpt that I think it would look really good with a bunch of repaints. Alright, so that about covers everything on the figure itself. Let's take him over to the couch and we'll finish off the review. Hey everybody, welcome to another Talk review. As you can see in the opening sequence, we are taking a look at NECA's new 7-inch 1989 Batman figure.
I love that they're doing a bunch of Michael Keaton Batman stuff.
I do too. Well, one thing is that I had to do that last one so fast with the video game tribute one that you guys didn't get a chance to do the couch part of it.
Yeah.
So this is cool that they're doing another one so quickly that you guys get to be a part of it and kind of give your thoughts on the figure and stuff like that. I know it's not the video game one, but I think you both were looking forward to a regular Batman more than you'd be looking to a video game one. Anyway.
The one with the different colors.
The video game tribute, yeah. So this was a big surprise, first of all. Huge surprise. Came out of nowhere. NECA kept on talking about how they didn't have the rights to it. and that it was tied up. They couldn't do it, and it got revealed online through NECA's Facebook page and things that they showed this packaging and they said it's not a standard release figure. It's tied in with the Blu-ray release. It's the only way we were able to do it, and it was just so sudden. Like it was like, here's the figure, and it's going to come out in like 3 weeks,
Right.
2 or 3 weeks, which never happens nowadays.
This is like a person who loves 1999 Batman's dream come true.
It really is. Well, the fast turnaround too was just such. It reminded me so much of being a kid again. The whole, you'll see a picture of a figure in a sales ad, and then you go to the store and you find it, or you see it in a commercial on TV and you go to the store and you find it. That doesn't happen nowadays. Nope. The internet and Toy Fair and toy magazines and all that stuff have kind of taken away any element of surprise, where it's things about it way in advance and you've got all this time to sit and wait for it. Whereas this, it was like, I only got to wait like 2 weeks and I'm going to have that figure in my hand.
Yeah.
And the fact that they pushed so hard and tried so hard to get this made, I can't thank NECA enough.
Yeah.
It's such a fantastic release. I'm so excited to have it.
I bet everybody can't thank NECA.
Oh, I can't get over it. A few people were throwing a little fit like, oh, I can't believe you kept this hidden and you got all the people to buy the video game figure first. No, they didn't. They did their best to make everything happen, and they wanted it to be a surprise. That's all there is to it. They would have done the video game figure regardless, and it would have sold regardless, because that's a continuing series. It would have sold.
Some are complaining about this?
Yeah, they were trying to say that they didn't announce it because the video game figure came out first, and they were trying to sell as many of those as they could before this, which is a ridiculous conspiracy theory thing. Regardless of what happens, they were going to do the video game figure. Has nothing to do with trying to get more sales of it. That's silly.
That's because NECA does like a lot of those video games.
Exactly. That's a continuing thing.
Right. They've done Zelda, Mario.
Yeah. And they may have gotten the deal to do that first so that they can make the sculpt and get everything ready to go to get Warner to sign off on doing this kind of thing. Okay, so let's talk about the figure. We talked about how awesome it is, first of all. The packaging tribute. So awesome.
Love that.
I love this. Keaton, do you recognize this? The toy, you've had a couple of these guys. It's a tribute to the old Toy Biz, the first Batman Michael Keaton figure, which was the 1989 Toy Biz version.
Don't we have?
You have him, yeah.
Yeah.
You have it.
But the one with the belt that. But the one with the game, don't we have the game?
Just a little bit.
Don't we have the game?
Oh, you have the game, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got the game. But this packaging is a tribute to that old figure with the zip-out belt.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is such a cool thing. I love the Kenner line. But
I like the packaging on that line.
I like the packaging on both the Toy Biz and the Kenner lines.
The smaller vehicles, I like it better in that line too. The Joker cycle and the Bat cycle. Where
I just love it. Just reminds me so much. This takes me back to 1989. This gold and the purple, and they're really good about doing these tributes. Like they did the Kenner Night Fighter tribute. They did all the Predator Kenner tributes and things like that.
RoboCop
video game tributes. Yeah, all those things. They really believe in the heritage of toys. And I can't give them enough credit for that because it's one of the few companies that truly is giving heritage to toys.
One company that actually does that.
Yeah, they actually respect the old stuff and they know that we remember those things and we loved those things. And they're like, you know what? It was great the first time. Why not do it again?
Exactly.
And this was great the first time, and I'm glad to see them do it again. The front of it's not your standard size card. It's kind of a small card, and I think that was to fit in the case in a shipper box with maybe the Blu-rays or something like that. That it's not a standard regular packaging.
I know this would never happen, but I wish they'd get a Jack Joker and a Bob.
Oh, it'd be great.
It would.
I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it would be great. The back of the packaging is a lot like the old figure, where it's got like the oil stack thing or whatever you want to call this, the water tower, and then like a pebbly roof.
And the newspaper.
And the newspaper down below, the Gotham Globe edition with all this stuff reprinted on it. I love it. I love this packaging. The picture on the back is actually the 18-inch version, but since this body was basically a shrunk-down version of the 18-inch, yeah, it's fine. Well, the back of it kind of is almost a tribute too, because the back of the Toy Biz packaging didn't actually feature the Batman you had in the front.
It had the superpowers.
It had Black Superpowers repaint. So in this way, it also is saying, here's a figure on the back, but it's not actually the figure getting up front.
Which is awesome.
Which is kind of cool. Now, there are two versions. Yeah, this is actually the 18-inch. You have the 18-inch. This is the 18-inch, and this is the 7-inch. And the 7-inch is a reworked version of the 18-inch, so it's okay. There's actually going to be, there's two different versions of this. This one on the front with this bubble, the sticker on the bubble, the 25th anniversary bundle thing on the front, is from Toys R Us.
Right.
The one that you get if you order from the eBay store will not have this sticker on the front. Either way, you can use some Goo Gone and get this off of there. It's no big deal either way.
But, if it comes with the DVD, it's like one of the coolest people I know in the bonus feature credits.
Only if you bought it off eBay.
Yeah. Yeah, only if you buy it off eBay.
The eBay, I wonder who you're talking about. The eBay version comes with the Diamond Luxe edition. I'll address that real quick. I kind of talked about it a little bit in the opening sequence, but there's 2 different releases. The one that was on the eBay store is bundled with the correct 25th anniversary DVD, or Blu-ray, I'm sorry. And that is the Diamond Luxe edition, which just came out on December 9th. It has a new packaging that's really awesome, and then a second disc that has a new special feature on it called The Birth of the Modern Blockbuster. Blaze was saying that it has somebody's name in the credits, and that's my name in the credits.
The coolest person I know.
Hey, thanks, dude. Warner Brothers came to me, or the people that worked for Warner Brothers on the documentary, they came to me a while back and asked if I would contribute some items to that documentary. I gave them everything they asked for. I can't exactly say the things that they asked for. That's part of the confidentiality agreement, but I'm allowed to say that I worked on it and that I contributed items to it. I had no say in the direction of the documentary, and I had no say on what content they asked me for. They asked for the things, and I gave them to them.
Looks like Warner Brothers isn't doing everything wrong.
Hey, there you go. Thanks, dude. Well, they do a lot of right. They do a lot right.
I'm talking about like modern superhero stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's cool that they added a new special feature. Yeah. I haven't actually watched it yet myself because my copy hasn't come in the mail yet. But I have heard that people are a little disappointed with the direction of the documentary.
Oh, I thought like you would have been able to watch it since you were.
They're supposed to send me a comp copy, but I just haven't got it yet. Anyway, enough about that. So that's the 2 different. The Toys R Us version just comes with the old standard Blu-ray, which I think was a goof on Toys R Us's part, where they ordered the regular Blu-ray and they're all packaged with it, and so you're just getting the standard Blu-ray. But the price is different. $25 at Toys R Us, $30 at the eBay store. The eBay store is gone. That's all sold out.
Right.
And Toys R Us is still supposedly going to get more. All right, the figure itself. The accessories are the same as they came with the... actually, everything about the figure is pretty much the same, but different colors from the video game version. You get the Batarang, which doesn't fold out or anything. It's plain on one side and sculpted on the other. It's got a nice little paint app with little silver edges on it and things like that. And then you've got the grapple gun, which is all one solid piece. Yeah.
The big one that we have?
Yeah.
It has the same grapple
That's right.
gun and the same
Batarang?
Batarang, but that one folds like 3 times.
That's right, you're right. It all folds up, and this one's solid. The same with this. I'm pretty sure this separates on the NECA 18-inch figure, and the little stock thing folds in. But this is all one solid piece. It does have a lot of paint apps on it, which is nice. It's got the silver bracket, which I think the silver version was Batman Returns? I can't remember for sure. And then all these little silver studs and the gold tip on it. So that's cool. I like that. It's the perfect accessories for him to come with. He's going to come with 2 Batarang grapple gun.
Wasn't that the first thing that the grapple gun was really in?
Yep. Batman 89 was the first time he used a grapple gun. As far as extra hands go, he's got 2 sets of hands. He's got, for his left hand, we showed this in the opening sequence, but he's got the one that grips the Batarang, and it's just like a little open spot, and the Batarang just kind of plugs into that spot. And I just dropped it, but that's okay. I'll find it later. It just plugs right in there. The hand switch off, easy enough. You might want to boil some water if you're having a little bit of trouble getting them off there. Yeah, like I'm having trouble getting them off right now. To get them to pop off a little easier to switch out. And then he's got a pair of fists, or he's got his hands that can grab stuff. And that's the one that has the slot for the Batarang, or one that's made to grip the grapple gun. The figure itself, I've already addressed all the articulation and things like that, so we're not going to bore you with all that all over again. And we're just going to talk about the figure itself and what we think about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's the first thing I can say right off the bat. That is an awesome representation of Michael Keaton's Batman.
Definitely, like the head sculpt is good too.
The head sculpt's great, and again, it's got a Michael Keaton sculpt under there.
Oh, wow, you can actually pull it off too.
Yeah, you can pull it up a little bit and see a Michael Keaton sculpt.
Awesome. Maybe they're kind of planning...
Well, it doesn't have a full hair underneath there.
Okay.
It's got like a ridge in the head where the mask kind of plugs into it, but it does have a full Keaton face. So if you were to want to customize and you got this off of there, you'd at least have the face to start working with. He has the black things around his eyes, but you've got a face sculpt to work with, and you just have to deal with the hair.
You know what I would do?
What's that?
I would buy 2, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I would take the mask off, put
Mm-hmm.
it behind him, and glue it there on his back.
Yeah? So he has mask off?
Yeah, and I would, like, make the hair better.
Yeah?
And I would, like, the black things around his eyes, I would paint the color of
like flesh tone? Yeah, that'd be cool to have him, like, just chilling out with his mask off.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. And it's so neat that they went to that extra mile, and that really, I think, helps the authenticity of the way this mask looks, is that it's actually a mask over a face. And it's, you know, as much as I love my Hot Toy, it doesn't have that. It's not a mask sculpted over a face. It's a plug-in. It's a chin piece, and I love it. It's a great sculpt. But there's something about the way this looks and feels that just adds to the authenticity of what they're trying to be.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's sort of a rubbery mask and has like a little bit of a play to it and things like that. That it kind of just makes it feel more authentic. Across the board, I think that we talked about this in the 18-inch figure. I love the way this is handled in comparison to the way the Hot Toys is handled, because that's all one rubber suit, and this actually can move. Like, all the joints are there, but they're hidden pretty well. You're not getting to the point where nothing's hindered. You can make move this all over the place.
Well, that's one thing NECA does great with, hiding articulation.
They've gotten better and better as time has gone on, and this is one of their best, I think, for hiding the joints. It's just really well hidden. And the fact that the scale is just a really nice scale for lots of things. It's not too big, it's not too small, and it's the missing Keaton scale. We had the Multiverse, like 3 3/4-ish type size. Then we have the Kenner, which is more like 4.5 inch. And then we've got a jump up to the 12-inch for the Hot Toy, and then we got 18-inch. And so this one's like one of the most popular scales that had been kind of overlooked up until this figure.
Yeah.
Just overall, such a pleasure to have this scale and this figure.
Now you have like all the scales too. You
do.
The the metal small.
Yeah, so I mean it. Yeah, it went all the way up.
Kenner, then that.
Hot Toys.
Hot Toy, then the one
the NECA
Batman.
18-inch.
Well, there's also that Batman.
Yeah, that's kind of weird though. Yeah.
That would be weird if what is this, like the 8 one?
This is 7-inch.
And there's an 8 one?
There's sort of an 8-inch, but it's not. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. That'd be weird if it was 1 to 8, like 1.
A 1 inch?
3, 4,
Oh, like a
5.
1-inch figure? Yeah. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
There's certain popular scales.
They also do like metal ones, which are.
That's right.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4.
That would be a lot.
5, 6, 7, 8.
And they do weird. They do some weird scales, like different companies and stuff like that. But there's really popular scales, and this is one of the most popular ones to collect. The fact that it came with the Blu-rays, the only way you could get it, doesn't really matter that much to me, because when you're talking that some figures, like Matty Collector figures, are almost $30 plus shipping. This was $30 and you get a Blu-ray, or $25 and you get a Bluray.
Right.
That's a great deal.
Plus you buy all the Blu-rays anyway, so it doesn't really make
so it's awesome. And if you already have the Blu-ray, give it to somebody. It's like a free Bluray.
I know.
Oh,
You really can't complain.
Show them what.
Show them a great movie. Yeah. So I can't say enough great things about this figure. It's just awesome. The only, and I'm saying only minor, it's so super minor, is the cape. I think the cape could be better. This is a mass market figure though, and they're not going to be able to spend a ton of time matching the material of the cape from the film. I mean, they did a pretty decent job on the 18-inch. I thought that they did a pretty good job of trying to match the material. This time around, it's just fabric.
Is it video game on that?
Same, they're just fabric.
Right.
That's purple fabric, this is black fabric. There's no kind of texturing to the outside or anything like that. But when a figure is this great, that is just looking for something to say, okay, that if I was going to change anything, it would be that one thing. And there's very few figures nowadays where I would just look at it and want to change just one thing. Tony May is the guy that does all the custom capes, is making a custom cape for this, and when I have one, I'll do a review for it to show you the differences. But that being said, this figure is awesome. And it's a Batman figure I've always wanted to have. Something that I don't feel like I had to break the bank to get, and I don't feel like I have to treat with kid gloves, or that it's too big to fit somewhere. Just an all-around perfect representation of Michael Keaton's Batman for an affordable price. This is the answer to anybody that couldn't afford the Hot Toy or the 18-inch or something like that. This is the figure to buy.
Yeah.
You're going to have a great representation of Michael Keaton's Batman that you really can't find much of a major fault in. It's just really great.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. What were you saying?
Yeah. And if you have the toy already and you want, like, the movie,
the real version,
you could give the toy to somebody else.
You could. I don't think a lot of people are going to give the toy away, though.
Well, if they already have it, though.
That's true, but I don't.
And if they don't
think
want to
they're
make it custom.
That's true. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. There's a chance that somebody might give this toy away, but most people are buying it just for the toy.
Like for Christmas.
That's a great idea. You know, that's a great point, because I know 2 guys that probably want one of these for Christmas.
Ooh, I'm one of those.
I'm another one.
So, yeah, this would make a great Christmas. All around, this would make a great gift.
Yeah.
The bundle pack would make a great gift for somebody that liked Batman, but maybe never with a Blu-ray or something like that.
Right.
Awesome figure. If you're going to hit the info section, you'll be taking the links to pictures of all the figure and packaging and all that stuff. I would say I'll post a link to somewhere to buy it, but right now there is no link to somewhere to buy it.
Yep.
ToysRUs.com sold out. The eBay store sold out. I can't say this enough. If you see this figure,
Get it.
get it. Don't think twice about it. Just get it. I don't think it's going to last for very long because it's such a special deal,
It'll probably
and it's
go
such
for
a
a long
solid, great figure that you really need to have it.
Probably be one of those ones that go for quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I think so too. In the long run, I think it'll be a very tough figure to find. Give me 1 second, but I don't forget what you're going to say. It's just that there's not often, I think, in our reviews where I can say, like, give it the highest recommendation and the highest pushing you to buy something. This one, I can't say it strongly enough. Buy this figure.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't care if you don't collect the scale. I don't care if you already have the hot toy. I don't care any of that stuff. If you see this figure, buy it. Period. That's all there is to it. What were you saying?
If you see it somewhere, you don't want to do it tomorrow because someone else will buy it.
You got it, man. Don't wait till the next day.
Just
If you don't have cash, hide it. Hide it somewhere.
And you know
Yeah.
what? If you're just buying it because my dad told you to buy it and you don't really want it, you could send it to us.
Don't do that.
No, I don't.
We'll do fine on our own, but you should buy it. So
Send it to a friend for Christmas.
send it to a friend for Christmas. That's a great idea. All right, we're going to sign off on this one. Thank you again, NECA, for making this happen. You guys are awesome, and it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
And the way you handled it was great. It took me back to being 11 years old again, and I can't thank them enough for that. All right, so we're going to see you guys next time, right?
Yep.
Later.